Hey everyone, this is Bo from the Mars server. I'm here to do a video on the newest update to Mabinogi, Memento. Woo, y'all! I know you guys been waiting for this video, and I am finally here. I've done my best to compile all that I know about the newest dungeon, the newest skill, and Echostones, of course. So you guys ready? Let's go ahead and do this video. If you guys go to the Mabinogi website, you'll see that there is a page dedicated to the Memento update. Basically, it's gonna introduce a trailer as well as a new character NPC in the game. And it's a really interesting addition to the game, guys. I actually personally love it. There's gonna be a new storyline quest, so that's really nice. I'm not gonna, spoil the storyline, of course. I'll do my best not to. And of course a new dungeon, which I'm sure you guys are gonna have a hard time pronouncing it and say something like Sidhe Finnachaid, but probably the correct pronunciation is Sidhe Finnachaid. Probably easier for you guys to just say Memento dungeon. Another new addition to the game are Echostones, and what they basically are stones that you can advance to get additional stats and awaken abilities similar to Reforges. They're located right next to your style tab, and they don't even cost you any upgrade stones or Reforges, so it's amazing. It's a double win already. Then of course you got the new skill called Dance of Death. You guys probably saw me do it in the beginning of this video, and it is just fabulous. At the same time, it's pretty strong as well. There's also different types of dances and effects that you guys can use with this skill, but in order to get them, you have to do the Memento dungeon. Also, there's Memento events going on right now, guys, but I'm not going to explain too much about it. It's just really simple stuff like AFK, click buttons, log in, do dungeons, that's it. Last but not least, Conflict unfortunately has been nerfed with the monies. Now, for those that have been using it as a way to make money, unfortunately that is gone. Good luck, you guys, with that. To start the Memento storyline, you're going to have to visit Abne at the Bard camp and talk to Yvona. She's basically going to start the quest, and you're going to be doing a lot of talking back and forth with the NPCs for this entire storyline. First thing you're going to probably have to do is wait. And the reason why is because according to Yvona, she's saying some, interesting sound stuff is coming at nighttime. So you actually kind of have to wait till it's nighttime in order to do the first part of this quest. Now you don't want to wait too long for something to happen, because you actually have to turn on over to your left at where the little sparkly thing is on the other side of the lake, and it's gonna start this entire storyline. Now, like I said, I'm gonna do my best not to spoil anything because, storyline is storyline, right? But I do want to share some of the nice cinematics that they have for this new update. It's really nice. I kind of had to just take a moment and gaze at it. Now, here is the newest NPC to our game, and her name is N, and she's basically going to be the one to introduce you to the newest dungeon, along with her, background of where she came from, I guess, and all that good stuff. This dungeon is not your typical dungeon where there's hallways and whatnot. It is a huge, massive waterland. I know some of you guys are going to get lost, so if you guys end up getting lost, just open your map. It's going to show you guys roughly where the orbs will be located. Now, the first part of the storyline ends going to have you follow her, and, that's all you got to do is just follow her, do the step-by-step instructions, and you're good. There's some parts of the storyline where you're gonna have to visit certain NPCs you guys might not remember. For example, Air, and she's located in CO or KO Island. Also, you're gonna run into Nelly a few times, and he's located in Imain Maka Square. There's also Alla, and she's located just at the Bard camp. Now, Ella's going to be the one that's going to show you how to do the newest skill, Dance of Death, and once you've obtained it, you are free to have fun with it, and of course, level it up. Dance of Death is not only just a skill to just use for the fun of it, it's also a skill that has some damage effect, as well as the fact that it bypasses defensive stats and passive defenses on enemies. But really, it's also a really fun skill to greet people with. Once you finish the Memento storyline, you can now start the dungeon by talking to N. you need to actually be a minimum current level of 40 in order to do this dungeon. And basically, when you start this dungeon, you choose which type of dungeon you want to do first, and then you choose the difficulty. Now, I know some of you guys are going to be like, psh, basic, I can totally solo that. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, this dungeon is actually kind of hard and a bit complicated. But don't worry guys, I've got the rundown for you. If you guys check my description below, I've included a link to a little guide that I created for this entire dungeon. Now this dungeon, if you look on my little map that I made here, has several rows, A, B, C, D, and E. You do not have to clear all the numbers on this map. You only really need to clear one per row, except for row C if you decide to do the fish orbs, which is located at 2, 4, and 6. Now, I know it's gonna be kind of confusing just looking at this, so just continue watching my video. Later on, I will show you one of the best ways to clear this dungeon. So let's first start off with the type of enemies that you guys will encounter. One of the most annoying ones I've encountered was the form of rage. Basically these little dogs that have this like insane need to be far from you. Don't spend so much time running after these guys. It's best to final hit if you have it, or to hop on a pet and attack, because they will outrun you, and you know, they're just kind of annoying. The next type of enemy that you will encounter would be the form of nightmares and emptiness, and these are basically the humanoids and the horses. And I know some of you guys remember how to fight some of these, but if you guys don't remember, basically the blue one is pretty much weak against magic, red one's weak against combat, and there's other skills obviously that work besides those two, so be sure to use the right one, otherwise you're not going to do any damage at all. The next type of enemy you guys are going to run into is basically the form of gloom, lament of agony, and form of silence. These are the fishes, and you do not want to step on these guys. Basically, if you step on these guys, you will get debuffed, and it is not pretty because they actually will prevent you from doing any skills, will prevent you from summoning your pets, and leave you completely vulnerable. Ideally, you do not want to touch these fishes. You want to attack them with a ranged attack, or just kind of go around them. You might also notice a tree in this map area, and basically a bunch of form of harmonies are around the trees, little wisps. If you attack them and clear them all out and you punch the tree, it should drop a powder of harmony. And what that does is basically the fishes from the one that I just mentioned earlier will kind of not aggro you for a short period of time. They're not really needed in the run, in my opinion. You can technically avoid the fishes by just not stepping on them or getting too close to them, and the powders itself just take too much time to get by clearing all these harmonies. So in my opinion, I would just leave this tree alone, but up to you guys if you guys want to do it. Now, if you guys don't want to deal with the second spawn of fishes, a nice technique is to have somebody aggro the fishes away from the orb. Basically, if you kill way too many fishes, it's gonna spawn a second spawn, so what you can do is just have maybe a giant use taunts and wind guard, and you can easily clear the orb. Of course, your giant buddy over there will struggle a little bit for your sake. Now, the next type of enemies you guys will encounter would be the form of doubt and the form of strife. Now, you'll notice that these fishes may be quite immune to some of your attacks, except for certain skills like Life Drain and Dance of Death. Now, if you guys don't have either one of these skills, what you can do is attack the form of strifes, and they'll drop a sword. Now, there's going to be a dark blue sword and a light blue sword, so obviously the dark blue sword will be used on the dark blue fish, and the light blue sword will be used on the light blue fish. They're basically like rusted swords in form of attack. If you attack them long enough, you should be able to drop their protection and do more damage to them. Now, after these fishes, you will encounter the mini boss before the actual boss, and these bosses here are the dragons, called the Shape of Horror. Now, the amount of dragons in this mission depends on what type of dungeon you choose. Now, if you choose, let's say, Curiosity, you're only gonna get 2 dragons to spawn. If you choose Fear, you will get 3 dragons, and if you choose Sorrow, you'll get 4. Now, the important thing about these dragons is that if you kill all the dragons and leave only 1 dragon left, they're gonna start to use a skill that's similar to the Skelemancer's, which basically their attempt to revive the dragons again. Now you don't want to have that happen, so in order to do that, what you do is kill as much dragons as possible and leave only 2. When you're down to 2, try to attack them both at the same time, so then they both die around the same time, unless you're like OP as heck and can kill them like right away. But these dragons are pretty much weak against magic, so it's very helpful if you guys use magic skills. Final hit is good too, as well as bash. They do use a lot of magic skills like thunder and fireball, so you want to be careful. And they have an insane damage on their windmill, as well as their petrification can be quite annoying. Mana Shield in this run is definitely highly suggested, because if you guys don't have it and you get hit by their windmill or fireball or thunder or something, you're pretty much dead. Now here's an example of what I mentioned earlier of the dragons attempting to revive. You'll only have about 25 seconds to kill off the last dragon, so you don't want to leave a high percentage amount of the last dragon alive. Now if you guys get lucky, you might get a drop after this kill. After killing the dragons, you have a random chance of receiving a dance motif or effect, and basically it's just gonna drop at your feet, and it's gonna say that it dropped at your feet. So that's how you guys know if you get something. Not everybody is gonna be guaranteed to get a dance effect here. It is just a random chance, and it doesn't matter how many dragons you kill in the dungeon. It's just a random chance after clearing this part of the mission for everybody in the party. Of course, keep in mind the harder difficulty you do, the higher chance you will get the motive. Now the next type of enemy you guys may encounter would be the Form of Chaos and Form of Awakening. Now the Form of Chaos unfortunately can only be killed by the Form of Awakening if you blow them up next to each other. So in order to do that, best to use skills like Life Drain maybe, or Fireballs, kind of push them towards the Form of Chaos and blow them up. Be very careful though, of course, their explosions will hurt you. Last but not least, we have the final boss, and her name is the Song of Grief. Very beautiful boss indeed, but in my opinion, she's not too hard. She's a little bit of a tank, but I feel like I had more problems with the dragon than her. Now she's going to be fought differently in all 3 types of dungeons. So for example, Curiosity, there really isn't anything here to worry about except for her own skills. The Song of Grief uses a skill that's similar to Wings of Rage, and it can actually attack your HP even when you have Mana Shield on, so you gotta be careful with that. She also summons these little circles that you don't want to stand in because it will completely kill off your HP. Other than that, really, she's just a sack of potato, guys. Now, if you guys do the Dungeon Fear, you will notice that there's going to be several end spirits around the combat area. Now, to fight in this dungeon, you have to control one of them using the crystal provided in your inventory. Basically, you have to choose one of the ends, and there's either a magic one, a close combat one, a gunner one, and an archery one. I know some of you guys are going to be like, what? I'm going to have to do this with ends. It take forever. But really, it's not too bad. You actually don't have to worry about your character too much in terms of durability lost, or I guess deaths, because it's just going to be focused on the ends. And you don't actually kill the boss all the way through with the spirits. You actually have to kill her up until 50%, and from there on, you have to fight with your character. If you guys attempt to fight with your character before it reaches 50%, obviously it won't let you, so you do have to use the crystal. There's no way around it, guys. Now, if you guys are doing Sorrow, you'll notice that there's going to be some Form of Strides and Form of Doubt spawning, and they're basically going to be swimming towards you and the boss. You don't really want to touch them because they will debuff you, and it's kind of annoying. I mean, they do like bleed damage, I guess, or something. But the good thing is, if they actually cross the boss, they will actually debuff the boss. So, I guess that's a, kind of nice thing, but it's not really that needed. Other than that, you just kill the boss the same way as any other dungeon. These fishes are just there to be annoying or maybe helpful. After completing the boss, you will receive quite a lot of EXP, up to 2 million if you do this on Advance. That's quite a lot of EXP, guys, for leveling. You'll also get an end chest reward, and inside the end chest it will be an Echostone, and depending on what dungeon you do will determine what color you will get. You'll also receive an Echostone Awakening Simulant, which is used on your Echostones. In order to use this, you'll have to click on the little music box, and it's kind of hard to see, but it's at the back of the dungeon. Sometimes it's under the water, sometimes it's above the water. And when you click on it, you'll see these 3 options here you guys can use. You can basically advance, or awaken, or fragment. If you advance your stone, it's basically going to increase the amount of stats on that specific stone. Now the percentage obviously in the run will become lower as it advances higher, and if you guys do an easier run versus a harder run, the percentage will also be lower. So if you guys do advance, you'll get a higher percentage versus basic. Now for these stones, they can go up to 30 max. Now if you reach 25 and you attempt to get from 25 to 26 and you fail, it has a chance of dropping back down to 24, so you gotta be careful about that, guys. You'll also notice that as you advance your skills, the roll amount will change. Now if you guys end up getting a bad roll and you don't like it and you want to re-roll it, you will need an Echostone stimulant, which unfortunately can only be obtained if you fragment a level 20 grade stone. Luckily for us, advancing doesn't cost us any upgrade stones or gold. It does only give us 3 attempts per dungeon run, so you're just gonna have to spam a lot of dungeon runs and hope you don't fail. The percentage though is kinda low, so the chances of failing is gonna be pretty darn high. But don't give up. Eventually, you know, it will succeed. Maybe if you get lucky, you guys will get a 30 grade stone. And if that happens, the stone itself will create a special little effect on your foot that kind of glows like a little, you know, teleporter pad thing. Now as for the awaken ability, you can get it by choosing awakening, and what it does, it will consume AP each time you attempt to awaken a skill. You will need to have, of course, one of the Echostone awakening stimulants. You may run into things like Fine and Finest Echostone awakening stimulants, and you guys are probably gonna wonder like, oh, should I use it or should I not? It's kind of like using Fine Reforges and Cratings Reforges. You want to kind of save them for a higher grade stone, otherwise the roll may not be too great. So here is how you guys can use the, I guess, the awakening skill here. And like I said, it uses AP, and if you attempt to use it more than once, the AP count will go up and higher and higher and higher each time you do it. Now, it's suggested you guys don't, you know, spend way too much AP doing this, because if you guys run another dungeon, it will reset back down to 2. So it's better just to do more runs than to kind of, you know, constantly try to re-roll in a single dungeon run. Also keep in mind that if you guys do the upgrade for this, you can only use a finest in an advanced run. Also, another neat thing about the awakening abilities is that there are some exclusive abilities that only show up on Echostones. So, for example, there are things like Rage Impact, Lightning Rod, Hydra Transmutation, Snapcast. There's so many different types of abilities you guys can unlock with the Echostones exclusively to the Echostones. So this is why you guys want to do this if you want to have better reforges for your character. Last but not least, you have the option to fragment a stone. To fragment a stone, you're basically going to destroy your stone and receive an item for it. Now, you can destroy whatever grade you want, but just know that at a lower grade, you'll get kind of lower rewards, such as like Echostone Awakening Stimulants. At a higher grade, you might get some Ancient Magic Powder, but the highest grade, like 20 to 29, you'll get an Echostone Supplement, which will help you re-roll when you advance your stone. You will also get little rewards like Shadow Mission Passes and, of course, gems, and they're not too bad in terms of the size. If you guys haven't figured it out by now, there is a new inventory tab right next to your style tab, and it is the Echostones. This is where you're going to put a maximum of 3 Echostones. You can only use one type for each slot. You can't use the same type for all 3 of them. There's a total of 5 different types of Echostones you guys can use: red, blue, yellow, silver, and black. Red is for strength, blue is for int, yellow is for dex, silver is for will, and black is for health, mana, and stam. Also, if you guys kind of haven't figured it out yet too, you'll notice that the awakening abilities will be based off of the type of stone you have. So the red one usually kind of has combat related stuff, the blue one magic, the black one alchemy related stuff. So it's kind of going to be different for each type of stone. Just to keep that in mind, not all stones will have the same type of awakening abilities. Also, once you equip your Echostone, it will be binded to you, but you should be able to trade unlock it using a trade unlock potion. Alright, so now let's do a, quick video of how to do this run pretty efficiently. If you guys are in a party of 2 or more, what you guys can do is to split up the party, have one party group work on the front orbs A and B, while another party group goes all the way down towards the back where the fishes are at and clear them out. Because what happens here is that once you guys clear out the fishes, you're kind of prepping for the next spawn for the orbs to appear here. So that way, once it's spawned, you guys can just run into the fish groups and hit the orb and go on to the next orb without having to fight another wave of enemies. This one is not so bad really. All you gotta do is just kind of clear the center where the orb would be standing at, and then just wait. Wait for your team members to clear, and once they've done that, you'll see the orb appear. Hit that orb in all the other locations that you've cleared, and I'm pretty sure your other team member will clear the other side for you as well, and then just meet up in the center so you guys can clear this last orb here. This one is not too bad as well, just kind of like do, whatever skills you need to do to clear this one. And you can have somebody go to the center right here early, so that way when they're done with that orb, it will automatically start the next round and teleport everybody in this location without having them run all over here. And then of course the Dance of Death is super easy on the fish, we'll wipe them out pretty fast. The dragons though can be a little bit difficult, so you want to kill them fast as possible. Firebolt with the wand is good, chain casting that is. Here, you guys can clear the center orb where the fishes are at. Now keep in mind that the fishes will only appear here if you clear the fishes in the previous rows. They won't appear if you don't do that. So that's why you kind of want to clear the fishes, because they're so easy to do. You don't have to deal with those exploding mobs. Now the Song of Grief is super easy. In general, it's just tanky. Just kill it, avoid circles and just kill it as fast as possible. And then you're done. And that's how the run goes, guys. Simply find a good party to spam with, and by common courtesy let the leaders do the fishing, please. And of course, good luck on those upgrades. If you don't get lucky, just do more runs. And that is my video on the new Memento stuff. Hopefully this video was very helpful for you guys. Sorry that it was so long. I tried to condense it as much as possible, but you know me. Alright, thanks you guys for watching, and like always guys, stay awesome. Okay, the center is done, I guess. Which one did you clear, the left or right?
Right.
Okay,
Time will go left.
To the left then.
To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right.
Guys, help!
Oh, right, I'm sorry, I forgot.
I've been saying, guys, help for the past 2 minutes. I was wind guarding, I couldn't get out.
I was like, hey, he knows what he's doing.
No, I don't. I don't know what I'm doing.
You left him there on...
Him, her.
It's a girl!
It's...
Dude, don't you remember, Bobo, what happened last time?
What?
How I died?
No.
Okay. No, I told you I was looking at her boobs and then I died.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Of course.
You were looking at
Of course, that's how you would die.
There was something like on her chest that was moving, and it wasn't her boobs, and I wanted to know what it was. So I zoomed in, and then I died.
Alright guys, dance battle.
Why am I getting targeted?
Dance battle. Ready, set, go, dance battle!
This is so bogus, I'm always targeted.
You died dancing.
I'm
not doing enough damage.
Not enough damage. The dance was not good enough. I will save you.